What more have you been able to figure out from your vantage point?
Yeah, an officer just told me that they are not rushing this because there are still two of the children in the car. So it'll take, they're being very cautious, and they're taking their time in making sure that the children are okay. That's obviously the first priority. But again, just still a very active scene. Several police with their guns drawn, pointed towards the car. We haven't, from our vantage point, been able to see any movement from that vehicle. But officers at this point are just trying to control traffic as it is continuing to back up as we'll head to work this morning. Drivers are being diverted right off of the 52 East, right before the 67 South interchange, and that seems to be flowing slowly but smoothly. But again, from what we can see, just several officers in front of us just taking their time before trying to safely remove the children from the car.
Yeah, you can imagine that they're going to do everything they can to make sure the remaining two boys get out of there safely. We do know that Daniel Perez has a cell phone. We do not know if it's turned on. We know that because Montebello police have been trying for the last 6 days to reach Perez. Police and the Perez family been trying to reach him and his wife to find out where they had disappeared to, where they've been the last 6 days, with no luck. And so we know he owns one, but we don't know if he may have turned it on and maybe speaking with them. You see the left side of your picture, Sky 10 shows those two officers leaning against the side of that transition road. They both have their guns pointed at the driver's side of that Camry. One of them has a high-powered rifle with a scope looking right down on. We can assume that with that he can see very detailed. Now you see our live picture. You can see he can get a very detailed look at what's going on inside that car. In fact, he probably has the best vantage point to see what's happening inside of that Camry right now, because he's on the driver's side looking straight down into it. From the back, it's very hard to see through the rear window.
Retired Sheriff's Deputy Glenn Revelle is on the phone with us right now. Thank you for joining us, Glenn. Just want to ask you sort of the protocol of what law enforcement is dealing with at this situation and what they're going to need to think about here.
Well, there's a host of things going through their mind right now, Virginia, not the least of which is there are a tremendous, starting with the children's welfare, the welfare of anybody in the surrounding area, and the safety of the officers in the immediate area. You can see a tremendous presence in law enforcement, and I think probably their number one thing is making sure they can maintain a safe position themselves, establish communication with this individual, and assure that to the very best of their ability, they can get those children out of the car safely.
Glenn, Bill Griffith here. Is there any circumstance you can foresee, and from your experience, where they might take action against Perez inside the car?
Well, Bill, there absolutely is a circumstance, but it would be the very last option in the array of options before them. They will do their very best to avoid harming anyone at this point. And of course, they will be very concerned that if they are able to successfully negotiate the children's release, that now he may take his own life. And after all of this, and after all of the emotion of the event, that's not an uncommon experience.